preview பார்த்துக்கோங்க. So, இது சின்னது வரும்போது இன்னும் நல்லா இருக்கு. பெருசு நீங்க அப்ப பண்ணது இப்ப டிலேல தான் வரும். கையை மட்டும் எனக்கு காமிச்சு க்ளோஸ் பண்ணும்போது நான்
பண்ணிக்கணுமா?
ஆரம்பிச்சிருங்க சார்.
இப்படிதான் இருக்குமா ஸ்கிரீன்? சின்னதாக தான் இருக்குமா? அப்படியா? ஓகே.
அது நீங்க பார்க்கவே பார்க்க மானிட்டர் மட்டும் இது மட்டும் கேமரா மட்டும்.
Namaste. Very nice to meet you all. This new year 2021. It's an opportunity to speak to you, talk to you through this online website. As usual, today also some of our friends from the US as well as from Europe presented their questions. Let us look into them, look into the questions one by one, and let's try to understand and tries to get clarified. The first question is from Jeannie. Hello. Yes. Hello. 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 Ginny is presenting her question from Oregon, USA. Namaste with love, Atma Ji. Can you kindly explain the situation of forces at work in the American election and roots at Capitol? Many believe that the riots were for divine purpose. I was very saddened by them, and though our system is evolving, hope now, the new president now, there are spiritual circles saying that this is a battle between good and evil and attributing these to political sides. I feel that the democratic process is evolving and good is coming from all of the chaos. Would love to know your thoughts and perspective. Much gratitude. This is from Jeannie from Oregon. Yes, there are political scenario keep on changing like other changes. What is permanent is only change, as we all know. Politics is also not an exception, especially during the time of elections and selections, selecting the ruler. That's what is happening and what has happened in the US also currently. Always two groups fighting each other. One group is always fundamentalism, another group is democratic. Always, not only in the US, also in India, also in other rest of the world, the fighting is going on. It is only a representation by the people, group of people. Some they support the fundamentalism, some other they are interested in democracy. This fighting is going on, contesting is going on. The existence is planning that way. Then only a balancing is established continuously. As you said, some believe that is all divine plan. Yes, everything is a divine plan functioning through human mind. So it is important to have the attention towards the Dharma. It's a time to discriminate what is Dharma and what is not Dharma or against Dharma. That is very important. It is very, very important. So, you are right, your feeling is right. The good and the evil fighting is going on. It is our dharma to establish, to support the good. That's all we can do as far as these political changes are concerned. As spiritual personalities, as spiritual seekers, our prime importance, our prime focus should be on our development, spiritual development, instead of wasting our energy and time in so many other things. Thank you, Ginny, for presenting your expression, your feelings. Congratulations. And I'm sure you're already focusing on yourself, your self development. spiritual progress. Wish you all the best. We have another question. This question is from Wendy Allen, our friend from Springfield, USA. Let's see. Atmaji, it is so comforting to know that you are out there doing this work in the world and that you are also living in my heart. My life has become very simple and quiet. I am called into meditation frequently, 2 to 3 hours a day. I am expressing a deep settling, and yet there remains this yearning for union that at times is painful. How should I respond to the yearning? This is Wendy's expression. First of all, I am happy, Wendy, in spite of the lockdown, in spite of this pandemic, you are continuously focusing on taking this situation also an advantage for your inner growth. That's really amazing. Yes, as you rightly said, I do continue my work helping people across the world in spite of lockdown, in spite of pandemic. In fact, during this pandemic only, I learned a little bit of online working. It's an opportunity for me to learn something so that I can communicate, I can continue my work through online. And as you rightly said, along with my work, and I always remember you. As I am in your heart, you are in my heart too. And one part of your expression, you say, there remains this yearning, longing for union that at times is painful. I like this part of this question very much. Longing for the union. You have not mentioned specifically union with God, union with the self. It is understandable. I know about you, you are always longing for the union of God, union of the divine. Here also we expressed very clearly about your longing for union, and also you say that moment is a painful moment. Yes, Wendy, exactly. More you are longing, more the pain. That does not mean you have to give up the longing. You have to intensify your longing for the union. Pain is there. It is like a delivery pain, labor pain. It's not going to be longer and longer the pain. The pain will vanish in no time. It is only a at the moment pain. I am sure he will transcend that pain too. The only way to transcend this pain is loving the divine more deeply, more intensely. That's the only way to transcend the pain as quickly as possible. I really congratulate you very much. This is how you can respond this situation while you meditate, while you continue your sadhana. Congratulations, all the best. My blessings always with you. Soon you will cross this pain barrier, pain border. Once you transcend the pain, naturally you throb into bliss, into peace, into love. When you come across such situation, remember me, I am always with you, near you. I can help you for this transcendence of this momentary pain. Thank you. And our friend, his name is Robert. Robert is from Westeros. There is a place called Westeros in Sweden. I actually visited over there. We had some satsangs and meetings, short sessions over there. I remember those days when I was there. Thank you very much, Robert, for presenting your question here. The question is, Dear Atma Nambi, please find the following question for the satsang. The question is, why is it so many women who do not love themselves for the divine humans they are? The question is, why is it so many women do not love themselves for the divine humans they are? If they do not love themselves, how is it then possible for them to unconditionally love their own children? That is the question. Love and light. It's one of the fantastic questions. The question is basically about self-love. Why is it so many women who do not love themselves for the divine humans they are? If they do not love themselves, how is it then possible for them to unconditionally love their own children? It's easy to understand the situation. Self-love is possible only when we understand what is self. After understanding what is really self, the love automatically arises. A little bit work on this, just focusing on the self, leaving the peripheral focusing, like focusing on the body, focusing on the mind, focusing on the thoughts, and focusing on several incidents. The moment we focus on the self, automatically love arises. For the first time, one understands, one experiences what is really love. Once this happens naturally, one is able to love their own children inside the family, in the family, more deeply. What currently going on is, without understanding the self what it is, without having the real essence of love, we are just loving in the name of love our children in the family and others too. It's not sufficient. Of course, in the beginning, one has to start somewhere to love the children or the members. But the permanent way is this, knowing what is really self, beyond ego, beyond boundaries. Then love automatically springs up like a fountain. Then you need not have an effort to love your children. Love happens effortlessly. It becomes effortless love. Love simply flows by itself. You may verbally express or not, doesn't matter much. Love simply radiates from you, around you. It really reaches your people, your children in the family. That effortless, natural flow of love is possible only by understanding what is really self, not only understanding, a constant practice, a constant quietness, keeping ourselves in pure quietness and calmness. This happens. You are just presenting this question with the relation of the women and the children. But Robert, it is not only between the women and the children in the family. This is something applicable to everyone. What about the men there? Same situation, you know. So, by understanding this way naturally, the love grows, the love radiates in the family members, the children, the adults, the elderly people, and all. They really have the shower of love, and a new vibration is always existing in such family. As a result, it reflects and it penetrates to the neighbors also and surrounding places too. This is how one can contemplate about, think about, and work on it. Thank you so much, Robert, for presenting this Beautiful question about the understanding of self as a result, pure love, as a result, a beautiful relationship, especially as you mentioned here, children in the family. Not only that, this is how one can show the way to the children also with regard to love. It's easier with the children than the adults to show the way to them. How to be in the effortless love by merely being in the being in the self, diluting the ego. And one more question is coming from Carla, Illinois, USA. Namaste and thank you, dear Atmaji, for your being, your light and love. Thank you very much, Carla. My question, it seems life events are speeding up for most people, events intervening in the everyday flow of life. Some of this is a result of COVID-19, but the larger picture encompasses much more. I sense this is the time to work to remain present and see events in a deeper sense. To become aware of the part we play in the growth of consciousness of all beings. Much love to you and to all. Yes, Karla, you are right. There are negative things of the COVID-19. Yes. Also, many positive things during this pandemic, the lockdown time, in the shifting of consciousness level. As I see this, many people, the awareness level, for many people, the awareness level is increased, is on the upper level, because it's such a shock. The entry of COVID-19 is such a shock to common man or middle class or upper class, for that matter, the whole humanity is shaken. Even now shaking. Of course, the intensity is lesser and lesser now. When it started at the beginning, somewhere in March, April, May and all, it was really very huge and big. Now it's slowly, the shock is reduced. Through this shocking, because it was like a life-threatening. It's always happening like this. When a life-threatening situation comes only, the level of awareness is increasing among the people. This has happened now also, here also in this pandemic, and lockdown time. As a result, what really happens is almost everyone starts thinking about what is really life and checking themselves. Are we really living a real life or a fake life or a false life? Things like that. It's a good sign. It's a very good sign. As I see, now people, they are interested in natural things, reducing artificial implementations. In other words, people start thinking about how to live, how to have a beautiful, holistic living, a life which gives good health, physical health, mental health, and also to sustain the immunity power. Not only sustaining, also increasing, improving the immunity level. This is a positive side of this pandemic and the suffering time. You are right, Karla. This is the time to work to remain present. Remaining in the presence is a true spirituality. Remaining in the now doesn't matter what kind of situation going on. You know, what type of situation is going on doesn't matter much. But this is a time to remain in the here, in the now. As a result, one can face any situation that may come in the future too. As a result, one can experiment oneself in such a way to how to transcend the body, the mind, the emotions, etc. And a chance to taste something unknowable. This is the time. You are right, Karla, exactly. I agree with you 100%. You also mentioned here very beautifully, we play in the growth of consciousness of all beings. Yes, you are right. At the same time, let us all pray together, taking this opportunity to for the COVID-19 to be subsided, to be reduced. And let us all pray together to bring the earth to normal movement of life. It's already happening. Still we need to pray. Let us pray together. Congratulations. And let's move on to the next question. The next question is about Anna Apurva from Germany. She has presented a question here during this satsang. She has actually presented two questions. The first question is, am I correct in understanding that desires that are unfulfilled in this lifespan continue to exist beyond the death of the physical body and are the stuff of tendencies or vasanas in the next life? The question is, am I correct in understanding that desires that are unfulfilled in this lifespan continue to exist beyond the death of the physical body and are stuff of tendencies, vasanas in the next life? Yes. The unfulfilled desires, they are passing on to the next lifetime, that's for sure. But we need to understand very deeply about this. This is not applicable to everybody. The people who are unconscious, not able to notice what's happening around oneself, they have the tendency of taking this unfulfilled desire to the next life. But the people who are really conscious enough, if these kind of people are able to be aware what's happening around, doesn't matter whether it is fulfilled desire or unfulfilled desire, this carrying over won't happen to those people. They are exceptionals. Because their awareness, their consciousness is so deep, so perfect, no residue is left out. You have to remember one thing: when the residue, when the balance is left out, balance here means balance of consciousness or living in unconscious. If that is left out, naturally, the unfulfilled portion of this life taking a carryover to next life and taking another birth, and one has to continue the life, the next body, and next body, and next body. So for the meditators, for the sadhakas, one who is in the practice, one who is consciously in the spiritual field, in the spiritual continuity, it's not applicable. Because for such people, there is no question of fulfilled desire or unfulfilled desire. For them, it's just an incident, that's all. They simply forget about it. No trace is left out. Their mind is like a blue sky, no clouds. For such beings, this normal process will not happen. And Apurva has asked another question also here. The second question by her is, in the last year or so, I have been experiencing polarized communication with some friends, family, and acquaintances. As a result, a few friendships dwindled, some long term close. Yes, she is writing about her own experience, what happened last year or so. She says, I have been experiencing polarized communication with some friends. Whenever polarized communication happens, this happens as a result. Always working like a cause and effect. Some may understand this polarized communication. Some may not understand this. Some may not withstand it. As a result, sometimes the friendship is reduced or disappeared. Some as a short-term close, few as a long-term close. These are the consequences. For every action, there is consequence. So we can take this experience as a bridge, as a tool, as an opportunity to correct ourselves, to build ourselves, to learn out of this experience, to grow further. Instead of worrying about the reduced friendship, the reduced relationships, either short term or long term. No need to regret about it. This is a great opportunity for you to develop and grow the compassion out of this experience. It's an opportunity, right? And also, it's an opportunity when someone else is doing like this towards us, we need not react this way. We can be friendly in spite of any kind of communication they communicate. After all, people, they communicate with their available skills only, with available knowledge only, with available experiences they got. You can measure their maturity. You can measure people's maturity by their communication. You can watch communications. You are already communicating with your friends, with your relatives, with many people around you. Along with understanding the content of the communication, you try to smell the essence of the communication. There are two things in the communication, whether it is a text matter or a telephone conversation or physical conversation. You can always watch two aspects in a communication. One aspect is about the content, the matter, what they really want to convey as a word, as a meaning. That's one part of it. That is very superficial. After all, what people are going to communicate, they always talk about either themselves or about the people around them or their achievements or the successes or something like that. Mostly repetitions. And sometimes some new news, absolute new things, of course. Apart from this content area of the communication, another interesting part in a communication is about the fragrance of the letter, of the text, or the conversation, or the communication. Even the body language, which is also a communication. How much you feel, you check from today, you understand. You must have understood all these things. Still, it's a reminder. We are reminding, we are exercising. Just read your friends or somebody's letter, maybe 5 lines or 10 lines. Just close your eyes, look into yourself, what kind of feeling you feel out of that letter. You forget about the content of it, time being, and just feel. How do you feel? Whether the letter, the text, or the communication gives you a pleasant experience or unpleasant experience, that we can note and we can notice. It's very interesting. Why some people they leave due to this kind of communication? Because they felt hurt. It is too heavy. That's why they leave. Communication is an art. It's not just transferring few words, a few matters. It's something which relate to the heart and feelings. People say often, good day, happy day. Just watch. When they say good day, whether you really feel goodness over it or just a superficial wordplay, you can easily make out. So, this question from you is a beautiful exercise. Rather, I can say, this experience of you can be a technique for you in coming days to experiment many things. This is part of spirituality. For me, spirituality is not just learning certain spiritual stuffs and practicing. To me, spirituality is watching and be aware of such things that you noticed here, you expressed here. This is possible when you are present in the present. You will have the capacity to watch, to feel, to experience. As a result, we will not do the same thing to others. We will never make others to be small. Our words, our communications will become like a mantra, chanting mantra, singing mantras. And we have another question. This question is coming from our friend Pamela from Kansas City, USA. The question is, Dear Atma Ji, Atma means soul. A lot of people talk about the soul, as if it is a known quantity, but I am not certain exactly what it is. Please define what the soul is. If there is only one soul, then why does it appear that individual souls incarnate? Do soulmates truly exist? Are soul twin flames real? Two individual souls that inhabit the same soul? Thank you for your explanation on this matters. This is how Pamela is expressing from Kansas City. The question is related with the soul. Yes, yes, Pamela. The word soul is used and misused widely across the world. Very true. You are also asking me, please define what the soul is. Defining the soul is the most difficult thing, almost impossible. This we can understand only by contemplating about the soul. There are good definitions, good terminologies, terms in the Indian philosophy, Hindu philosophy, Atma and Paramatma, the individual soul and the universal soul. Here you have mentioned about how these souls are taking birth, how they incarnate. Whenever there is a term called incarnation, we have to remember it is mentioned about individual souls. Individual soul, for easy understanding, we can understand like polluted, unpurified. That means with the residue of mind. Or you can understand soul with mind may be thinner. The mind may be thinner. Whether it is thicker or thinner, the mind, the individual soul is bound to take birth, bound to incarnate. Why the individual soul has to incarnate is just to purify. Purification is possible only by taking a birth during the lifetime, working on it, living the life, and purifying and merging with the Paramatma. The Atma dissolves into the Paramatma. The individual consciousness dissolving into the divine consciousness. That's the purpose of birth, taking incarnation. This is how it is. As such, the soul is never born, never die. It ever exists. We can have this clear understanding about the soul in this way. What is then taking birth and undergoing death? Is the impurities, is the mind part of it. The mind dies because it was born. And you also mentioned about the soulmates and twin flames. Since you are born in the Western world, naturally these terms you are familiar with because many people they are talking about soulmates, hmm, twin flames, things like that. You know, you're asking me, do they exist? Yes, they do exist. Soulmates are there, twin flames are there. You also mentioned here twin flames, two individual souls that inhabit in the same soul, identical, identical feelings, identical senses, identical emotions, identical likings. They all exist. As spiritual seekers, personalities, spiritual personalities, we need not give too much importance for all these terms like soulmates, twin flames, etc. Because they are all part of Maya. It is a time to meditate upon, it's a time to contemplate upon through this question. What is Maya? What is not Maya? What is illusion? What is not illusion? This question is a beautiful opportunity to contemplate on this. As spiritual seekers, we are all. The individual soul, the soulmates, the twin flames, etc., all these things belong to the Maya. All these things put together. As spiritual seekers, we can be aware of this Maya. Of course, we can enjoy this Maya. Nothing wrong. It's like an entertainment, enjoying the Maya, but being aware that it is Maya. Right? It is like sometimes you give company to your small children. They play some small games and you also give company to them. You know very well it is just a play. You are giving company to small children for their entertainments to make them joyful. You make a little fun. It is like that. On any account, let us not be attached with this kind of play, word play like soulmates, twin flames, individual souls. They are all part of Maya, part of illusions. As spiritual personalities, we have to focus only on what is not Maya. I say to somebody who is a spiritual person, if that somebody is always focusing on what is not Maya, 24 into 7, by just playing with the Maya, The one who is a spiritual personality never lose himself or herself into the Maya. But still they play with it. Still they are aware of it. I'm sure this will help a lot. It's like a contrast. With the contrast, one can see things clearly. We can use these terminologies, individual souls and soulmates and twin flames, like a contrast, like a shadow. The shadow examinations are helpful to find out the true image, the true. Without the true image, where is the question of shadow? So, let us take our prime responsibility to look into what is not Maya, what is not illusion. Let us not be deluded by all these illusions. This much we can take it as an opportunity through this question of Pamela. Thank you very much, Pamela, for presenting this wonderful question. And we have come to the last question. Here, a little bit, I don't know, I'm not sure, because this question is from Joy from Kansas City, USA. First, she has written a question. Later on, she says, I think I have got it. That's all right. Let us go through this question anyway. The concept of dharma is elusive for some. Does dharma mean focusing on the here now, the process of activities consistent with one's essence without attachment to the outcome? If so, how does one set a 3-year, 5-year, or 10-year plan? Must we throw all of our planners out to the consistent with the intention of dharma? If we don't, do we generate karma? Thank you for considering this question. That is Joy's question. Even though you already got it, you are clarified by yourself. You raised the question, you got your answer without discussion here. Still, I would like to say a few words regarding this. I appreciate of your understanding. Your understanding is perfect. Dharma means focusing on the here now. You are right. 200% you are right. Also, you are slightly raising a question about the planning. Then why we should plan 3-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan? I tell you, you can plan 50 years also, no problem. Planning will never create any karma. Let us be clear about it. Then, what is creating karma? By just hanging on the result of the activity creates karma. Hanging on the results only. Not hanging on the planning. Not hanging on the activities also. Activities never bind you. Plans never create any karma to you. But when it comes to the question of reaction towards the result, your response towards the result of any activity, any action that you do, one has to be very careful. One has to be neutral. That means if you are neutral about the results that you are facing with every action, you are free from karma. You are not accumulating any karma. Hence, you are unburdened. As a result of unburdening, you become very playful. That is the motive of life. Playfulness is the purpose of life. With this, we are concluding today's satsang. It is wonderful, it is a beautiful moments I spent with you. Thank you so much for making this 1 hour as very interesting hour. It's just like that gone. I really enjoyed, even though I'm not able to see you all, but I feel you all, experiencing you. And once more, Happy New Year. Happy after pandemic. Happy after lockdown time. I always wish to see you in person also. I don't know when it is going to happen. I only hope for that. Thank you very much. Pleasure is mine. Have a wonderful day and wonderful time and wonderful life. Enjoy. Thank you.